Hello, how's it going? Hope everyone's having a fantastic night. Hopefully our power will stay on. It did start storming pretty loudly and suddenly. It doesn't look like it's going to be too long. It looks like it's moving. Those are suddenly really large. Alrighty. Yeah, so this is the Plots and Potions post-show Q&A sponsored by Wizards of the Coast to kind of approach how to DM and integrate journeys through the Radiant Citadel into existing campaigns. It's been a long day. There. And I'm just like half kind of like hearing the rain's coming down really hard right now. So yeah, I hope everyone had a fantastic time. And yeah, there is a lot of stuff that we didn't get to, obviously, because it's a one shot, you know. You don't really get a lot of the small nuances or, you know, all of the encounters that you would in a multi-session game. But like I'm glad that we at least got to showcase some of it. And I am glad that we got to at least meet Isel. I think they're adorable, and like character Amal, I would also want to hug them, even though they're on fire. But yeah, this book is just absolutely great, and for like new DMs too, because like again, I've relatively really only started DMing since the spring, so I like the approach that the Radiant Citadel book has. It offers so many different hooks and ways that you can begin adventures, start it, like, you know, integrate campaigns and such. Like for each area, like if your characters come across one of the civilizations first and then travel to the Radiant Citadel, or do they come across the Radiant Citadel first and then, you know, go on out? They have different ideas and hooks all throughout the book, and offers different ways. And even for this adventure, it offered you know, different suggestions of how your characters could be tasked to this adventure, like who could be hiring them or why their reasoning of going. They offer more than one hook, and I think that's really cool, because I haven't really like seen that before. So it's like setting the adventure, it's like through the Radiant Citadel. You could have and then specific character hooks as well. And then what I think was really, really cool, for each area, they kind of like suggest ways of how that could be linked to existing areas that, you know, are already like Forgotten Realms, Eberron, places such as that. I'm trying to find in the book where... Oh, I keep missing it. Yeah. So, for example, for the Trail of Destruction, to the Radiant Citadel, so you can, you know, arrive to Tletepec from the Citadel, or they offer a couple different ways. So, through Forgotten Realms, the region of Tletepec might sprawl among the peaks of flame in Choltz, or the fire-steeped mountains east of the Lake of Steam. And then also from Greyhawk, they offer a way that Tletepec could easily exist in the Fulganic region where the Hell Furnaces meet the Amedio jungle just south of the Cauldron. It could also be added as one of the Ulman Islands. So they do, yeah, there's actually a few areas that offer Greyhawk connections. So I think that's helpful, especially coming from a way of trying to, like, how do you take this area, these locales, and integrate them into a setting that you've already got. And also too for homebrew especially. So founding civilizations, there's 27 in total. Just more than half are technically active. So there's like 13 that lie dormant that you could easily, you know, make into any of your own worlds, connecting like, oh, you know, if a character is from a certain area and they find their way to the Radiant Citadel and it wakes up one of the crystals, you know, you can link your world to the Radiant Citadel, which is essentially like a hub. You know, to and from, it's very, I think, one of the most adaptable things I've seen out of Wizards, which I think is really, really cool. And then asked for some questions on Twitter. Yeah, so like one of the ones is from Stella, or some of the ways you can work Radiant Citadel into a campaign that has already started another setting. So yeah, a Greyhawk campaign, one that's in a Forgotten Realms. You know, they can come across them just through travel, or the neighboring regions, you know of these areas, or, you know, anything with like, if they're crossing into the ethereal plane, they could just, you know, come across the actual Citadel itself, which I think would be like a fun, like space, not like space pirate, but like skyship. That's what I was thinking of like just kind of like being lost in the ethereal plane and then like coming across the Radiant Citadel. Yeah, it's just, there's just so many different hooks in this book that I just think, you know, what do your players want? You know, what are they after? Because there's probably you know, you're gonna find something in this book that will be like, oh, this adventure and this, oh, they kind of approach things this way. Well, you know, there's this, you know, hook that will, you know, ease things in nice and gently through that. Ooh, Dragonlance. They also connect Dragonlance for one of them. That's fun. But yeah, and like each chapter is set up where it's like, you know, setting up the adventure, so you have like your areas, and then you have character hooks, stuff like that. And you know, one of the character hooks I chose through the Trial of Destruction was, you know, being asked to go check out the region in case, you know, they needed to prepare for evacuations and for refugees. You know, I felt like that was the hook that would most appeal to, you know, the party that had formed in our session 0. So I find that, you know, even if it's not like a specific way, I feel like it's a very good jumping off point to adapt. Yeah. Oline is basically why I chose this adventure. Which I think, Hamna's question, in your opinion, which is the most romanceable NPC in the book? More seriously, what's your favorite piece of lore from the book and why? And yeah, when I saw the artwork for Oline, I was like, hello, who are you? And how do I include you? So I was like, okay, this adventure. But also too is I just really liked picking one of the civilizations that wasn't represented in our party, because I like absolutely loved, you know, having the characters be from one of these new civilizations that linked back, you know, to their own culture, so, you know, they could have that experience. And so like, in addition to that, like I wanted to choose an area that wasn't, you know, so we could explore another one, you know, to include another one. And yeah, Mesoamerican lore is so, it's so interesting because it is, you know, it is tied to a lot of, you know, kind of like human relationship with, you know, the volcanic destruction of their environment and how those mythologies form around that. I think is really cool. And Oline is a figure in that folklore, which I definitely want to read more about that individual, because they're just a lovely character. But yeah, that was definitely like my main deciding factor was when I saw the artwork for that. And then from Zombie Fight, how much is put into improv moments? Things like when the party is walking along and they find a place you hadn't planned on using, but they want to explore. What do you think? What if the party goes there during prep? So the way that I generally prep, I do like to kind of like scout ahead if it's like a campaign module that I'm working from, or if it is like a homebrew content. I do kind of like to pre-fill the area, or at least familiarize myself with an area, and just kind of like keep on hand various NPCs, or various things that could happen. And it's, if they get used, they get used. If they don't, I'll have them for another time. They're always something that I have, I can pull from at the ready. Not so much if when a party asked for like 5 horse names, though I think I did admirably in that regard. Oh no, I'm out of water. That was one thing I forgot. Forgot to fill up my water. Car said. Maybe he will magically help. But yeah, anyone in chat, do you have any other questions or thoughts or stuffs? Yeah, yeah, you can tell the love that has been put into this book, and it's just, stuff is so wholesome too. And I really one of the encounters that I was hoping we could get to, but I had a feeling we wouldn't have time to, and that's totally okay. With encounters, you're lucky to get to kind of like big events. Thank you. But I love, and it's with this book, and it's a lot of content that Wizards has been putting out lately. All the non-combat resolutions. Not everything has to be murder hobo-y anymore. There's actually, even though anyone anytime could always RP differently or approach things differently, but I like that official content and everything is actually including that. It's also being thought of and approached that way as well. And I think one of the reasons that I also really like this adventure is that it didn't necessarily have to end in combat, in a fight, and I like showcasing those. I like also playing those too. Combat's fun, every now and then, like utterly cleaving an elemental fire snake. It's fun, but I think that was like the only combat that we had. But it showcases that D&D isn't always combat. Yes, it did start as like war games and very combat mechanic focused. I like that there's a lot more narrative content being focused on. I love that direction, and I hope that the writers who got to work on this book get to work on a lot more stuff going forward. Yeah, because again, like, not all tables and DMs, if something's not included, they may have a hard time including that, or approaching things differently. Whereas if it's kind of like outlaid in the book, like, you know, if characters, you know, do this instead of that, you know, you'll get this outcome, kind of thing. And I like that, and I want more of that, and I hope to see more of that going forward. Yeah, there's so many cool areas. Like, I definitely want to play more of this at some point, and yeah, like the way that these adventures are laid out, you know, they can be kind of like interspersed into longer games and stuff like that. There's so many different types of adventures that are displayed in this book. Like the first adventures, you know, you're at a night market, and you know, there's competing vendors, and there's a bunch of like games and puzzles and like a chase and stuff like that. You know, super lighthearted, to like, you know, some more serious adventures and stuff like that. There's the spectrum of tones and themes and moods, just, you know, across the board. So I feel like there's, you know, any mood that you're up for, you know, there's a direction that you can go with this book. Something for everyone. And then, yeah, again, with the Radiant Citadel, it's a hub, right? You can, from there, you can literally go anywhere, which I think is cool. You know, I think this is one of the first things, at least that I can recall, where, you know, this is actual published content being like, look, here, you can connect your homebrew worlds to this place that connect to our official settings. You know, and it's like, it bridges that gap of homebrew and the, you know, the official settings and, you know, in the modules and stuff like that. It brings everything together. Kind of like how it brings all the cultures together, all the peoples together. Yeah, it's really cool. I think it would be really fun to have adventures like set in the Radiant Citadel itself. You know, and they do have some hooks of where you might be able to go with that and stuff like that. Because, you know, for as much as they want to be neutral and, you know, very community focused and stuff like that, you know, there are outside powers, you know, trying to undermine that. And you could be like, characters be like, nope. Yeah, as the shield bearers. Yeah, the way that like I like to approach, again, I am new, but I do like narrative design, especially. So it's like I definitely waited until session 0 to kind of get like a feel and vibe of like the party and the characters, and you know what their motivations are, what their drives are, before I even approached how you would be starting this adventure, how I would get you there, because I don't want to force anything that doesn't feel like a natural fit for a party, because it just feels like maybe like, you know, forced, or just, you know, why would this character would want to kind of do that kind of thing, right? Where I felt like the way that your characters, you know, kind of formed together, a good part of you all like were very much with guiding and helping others. So it just seemed like a natural fit that you know, you did jobs for the shield bearers in charge of the rescue and refugee missions and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. Just like that concept in general of like having a hub in a D&D setting where, you know, this organization is to help people, because how many like D&D campaigns, official or otherwise, you know, especially the higher up ones, you know, there's collateral damage for sure. You know, you're upending kingdoms, or, you know, upsetting gods, and, you know, this, that, and the other. So it's, you need a place for for everyone to go. So it's, I don't know, I like this different approach. It offers a lot of new ways of looking at it. And I think that a lot of people are going to make some really, really cool content with this book. So I would definitely keep an eye out for that. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff, I think. Cool campaigns and cool characters, and just the vibrancy of this book. The art also too, but you know, culturally, because yeah, you don't see a lot of these in mainstream, and it's really nice. It's really refreshing. Yeah, definitely, it's definitely worth picking up a copy. It is available out now, so you can get like D&D Beyond. Roll20 has the module, and so it's like specific hobby stores have the alt cover, and then the more generic hobby stores have the regular cover, and then I think at some date time that they will switch. At least that was what Carson explained to me, because I had him pick me up a copy today so I could have something in hand to look at for today, because I do much better with like physical words on pages. So thanks everyone for bearing with me as I navigated digital words. My brain has a hard time comprehending all the digital content. So I'm also a DM who likes to prepare stuff by hand. So it's, I'm always in the camp of like, you know, do what works best for you. You know, no prep is too little or too much if it's what works for you. And I am definitely one that needs to write everything out and have like physical things in front of me, in addition to like my digital stuff. Oh yeah, the art in this book is so good. Oh, so good. Like, just, and like, so yeah, here's one. So some of you may oh, the light kind of flashed. So Twitch streamer Real, or Jessica Fong, got art in this book. So there's one. That's one. I know she did a bunch of the individual. Yeah, there's the eagle. So I was really excited when I saw their name in the credits. I literally like yelled across the house to Carson. That's a fellow Twitch creative streamer, fantastic artist. So that was really exciting. It's always really cool to see you know, your friends get to have their stuff in really cool things. But yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out with me. And again, I'm very new at the whole DMing thing, so thank you for watching. Yeah, seeing the art is fun, and especially like the last few books, like Radiant Citadel, Witchlight, Strixhaven, Netherdeep. Really excited to see all the artwork in the Spelljammer coming up next month. Like, oh, they've been on a roll with such good art. And like the alt covers for all of them too are just like really cool. I like the shiny bits. Like also the art on the regular cover is also like super adorable. That's from the Night Market adventure, which is, I think, is really adorable. And like a great kind of like introductory adventure too, and I love the direction too in a lot of the newer campaigns, like with Witchlight is Carnival, Netherdeep is Festival. You know, this one can be like, you know, a night market that has, you know, kind of similar type of festivities going on. And, you know, I love that kind of, it still has that same kind of like you meet in a tavern vibe, but just approached, you know, in a new, refreshing way. And it's like, you know, we all meet at a festival or a carnival kind of thing. And I don't know, I like that trend. I like that trend. Oh, it's almost 1 in the morning for me. It's been a long day. Again, I can't thank you all enough. So I know that also for my channel, this is a content shift from art, being a painter. So it's, I'm just happy all around that you choose to hang out. And yeah, I'll be on Stella Luna's channel. I guess later today, 9 p.m. Eastern for Navathem's End, and then we've got another show premiering Saturday at 9 p.m. I've got a lot of production work to do on that yet. Yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out, and again, thank you Wizards for sponsoring the Q&A and the one shot, allowing me to showcase one of these adventures is really cool to get to do. Hopefully we get to do more stuff in the future. Scheduling me like that wasn't planned. Anyone, thanks so much. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you on the internet. Righties. I don't have my regular hotkeys, so it's gonna be like an awkward before I say goodbye. There we go. Okay. Bye-bye for real. Bye-bye.